What is up, guys? It's Solbash. Welcome back. We are back with some more Paladins Strike. Today we've got an update about the game. Now what they released was some information about one of the maps, which is the siege mode map. They brought this up at the very beginning of the post, saying, as you know, siege mode's actually one of the primary competitive modes for Paladin on PC and console. Probably one reason for this is that siege mode offers a ton of depth and strategy to coordinate teams, while also being easy to understand and watch from a spectator's seat. We want our siege mode to be just as compelling and enjoyable. Now with that said, before we get into any more, look at this right here. This is the map that we played. This is the siege mode map that we had. And if you take a look at it, I mean, just straight out the gate, it's a big square really. So there's no really forceful direction to point you in. And I don't know, it seemed okay, but in my opinion, just like they agreed with, the routes were backwards basically. So the enemy should have been pushing the trim past you, and you should have been pushing yours past their base. Flipped, I think that map would still be okay, but here's what the devs had to say about this. They hope you would agree they felt like this map had a few design flaws. What that was the pathing on the map was very confusing. I do agree, like I said, it was just a big square, no real direction to go. The second thing they said, it was very hard to defend against an enemy escorting the payload. And the third thing was the environment theme could be improved. Now, they did say on pathing, they believe a more rectangular map would allow players to better orientate themselves on where to travel. In addition, they want to improve the environment and make the paths kind of more obvious to players, so nobody ever feels confused about where you are or where you're supposed to be. Now, with that said, on defending against an escort, they believe that the defending team is at a severe disadvantage for almost 2/3 of the payload phase on the current old map. The reason for this is because the payload is closer to the escorting team's respawn location for most of that route. Their view is that it's backwards. Like I said just a second ago, the defending team's respawn location should be closer as the payload advances. For that reason, that would create healthier balances between team fights, resulting in a lot more room for comeback plays and things like that, because you're actually having to push that payload past the actual defenders and be able to get past it. So if you take them out while they're close, you could be pushing it back just the opposite way. I really like that idea, and I can't wait to see that implemented. Now they also did say on their environment art, they believe that it would be possible to create something more welcoming. While different both from the summons mode and the deathmatch mode maps, the seed mode map they thought was a little too dark and dreary. So they wanted to put players in more of a lively environment that's going to make things a lot more exciting, a lot better to actually look at for the gameplay. And for those three problems that they have, they came up with a new design, which is this right here. This is the new siege mode map, and this thing looks absolutely amazing. So starting off, I'm going to finish reading what they have posted and talk about it first, and then we'll actually get into what I think about the map and some things about that. What they said was their hope is that the design leads to an improved experience for everyone, and it incorporates many of the constructive criticisms that they've received during the closed alpha. As you can see, they've addressed the plans to resolve all three problems. They've also are going to adjust the heals, the brush, add new strategic locations, to add overall depth to the strategy that will be available to coordinate teams. Now I really like that, but also please keep in mind that this is an early iteration of this map. They're testing more revisions internally, so we don't even know what those look like, but this may not be the final version. Just keep that in mind. This is just an iteration. It's just a version. They just wanted to share their plans with us to let us know what kind of opportunities we can contribute. I mean, these guys, they're eating our feedback up. They're loving it. So the more feedback you leave them, the better off it's going to be, because that's more information they're going to be able to take and then turn around and do something with. Now let's look at this concept for this new map. Now right off the bat, it's completely different. It's not a square, it's a direct Either you're going one way or the other way. Very simple. It looks like they've got at the bottoms right here. You have the base, looks like where you spawn. And these pads, I'm not sure what these pads to the left up here are, but it looks like the base may have changed as well. You got some little healing tree looking like things. Those may be what that is. It looks like they may have changed from the actual hill drops. Instead of the hills being on the ground, they may have the towers similar to what it is in summons. Now that's not definite, but that's kind of what that tower right there looks like. Now this up here on the right, this dock, that dock doesn't look like it's supposed to be the same as that, because down here you see it's got a small picture of what it looks like to the left, so that could be a spawn area for the other team. Now the only thing that's a little confusing is, of course, you see the objective in this is, it looks like that door or wall right there, it's got kind of a square to it, but that is extremely close to that green area that starts the payload push for one side of that map. And if you look on the other side of this, it's pretty good bit of ways away from there. So I'm not sure if it's a design or if it's only meant to be one-sided or the other. We'll have to see what more information they give us on this, but this is definitely a huge step. Looks like it would be an amazingly fun map. And the cool thing is, guys, this is just another map that they have. They could still keep the old map and basically do what I said about it. They could just flip the routes. So you would be pushing past the other person's base instead of pushing it past your own base, which would make it for a lot heavier competitiveness. Now with that old map as well, they could probably cut some walls in, you know, make it not so much a square. They could elongate it a little bit. There's just a couple different things they could do and still utilize that map and still have it in rotations, because if you do recall in the game when it was in alpha, the third one, which was the deathmatch, it had something that was similar to what it would say, kind of like a weekly thing where it refreshes and you have a different game mode, say every other week. I'm not sure if that's something they would be looking into, or if you just select what map you want to play on and go for it. But the thing I like about what they're trying to update with this map is they're pushing for competitive. And when I say competitive, I don't mean just, of course, yes, everybody that plays wants to win. The competitive I'm talking about is esports, which we all know Hi-Rez is definitely highly involved in with Paladins and Smite and a couple of other games. But this is probably the goal for this game, a highly competitive mobile game. They already know what's going on in the esports genre for mobile, and it's growing rapidly. So I don't blame them for jumping into it, and I applaud them for doing it. It's a great game, great concept. I can't wait to see what they have next for us. And when they do let us know what they have next, guys, I will definitely let you guys know. But that's pretty much going to be it for this video, guys. If you have anything to add whatsoever, if it's about the old map, if it's about the new map, leave these guys some information. Look, they have Reddit, they have Facebook, they have Twitter. The links are all, I will leave them in the description below. Guys, go check them out. Give them feedback on this stuff. The links, everything's here. Please just give them this information, because without this information, they're not going to know what they need to fix or what they need to change or what your thoughts are. So without conveying that, they will not know. So please go do that. And also, if you would do me a favor, hit that like button. That would help me out a lot here. That's all I ask for. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn notifications on. That way you do know when new content is coming out. Like I said, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. I am Solbash. You guys have a nice day.